Hello everyone, I'm Karen. I'm also known as Dr. Care. This video begins a series on the focus of self-care. There's been a lot of discussion and buzz about this topic, so I want to cover a nice range of information. The concept of self-care has really been around for a while, and I've discovered that the topic can be quite controversial, even polarizing. Many people really embrace the need for self-care, and then there are others who take the stand that self-care is really selfish. And there's so much to include surrounding this idea, so I want to break down the overall theme into just a few areas that to cover. The first video is, when do we need self-care? I'll talk a little bit more about that in this video. But then we'll move into stress, because I really feel strongly that we can't begin to talk about self-care until we chat about stress. Then we'll move to, is self-care necessary or selfish, and talk a little bit about what self-care is not. Finally, we'll move into exploring self-care and the aspects of taking care of the whole self, and I'll provide some examples of that. And then I'll do another video with some key points for the helping professionals. Let's start with a simple question. When do we need self-care? The answer may be pretty simple. It's just knowing you need a break. It can also be much more complex and can creep up on a person without true awareness. And we need self-care when we are stressed, overwhelmed, overworked, or just overbusy. Honestly, for the most part, we need to take care of ourselves in some way daily, by taking small steps and recognizing with self-compassion that we are providing what we individually need. We may help better management of our stress. Through reducing or the healthy management of our stress, self-care can be incorporated into daily routines to keep functioning at or very near our very best. So think of a time when you have felt overly stressed or you were stretched too thin in your responsibilities. Bring yourself to remember when you know you needed to step back, to take a break, or engage in some self-care. Think about what were some of those causes of how you got into the position of being overly stressed or stretched too thin. Or examine the root of why you feel you needed to block off time for some self-care. Try and recall, how did you feel in your body? Did you feel any tightness, pain, or discomfort? And where was that located? How was your thinking? Did your mind race with many thoughts? Or were you really at a loss of words or actions? Or you didn't know what to do or where to begin? How was your energy? How was your sleeping? And how were your eating habits at the time? Keep thinking on other ways that your life was impacted. All of these things are ways our bodies are talking to us about our situation and our potential needs. And possibly looking at those and exploring those can give us actions that we might need to take. Most likely we've all felt overwhelmed, overworked, or overstressed at some point. So the first key is to understand the need for self-care is to recognize your own signs and symptoms that our bodies are giving. Once you get a good feel for how you respond to your stressors, then the earlier you can begin to reduce your negative reactions to the stressors. Knowing and understanding yourself is a key factor. To summarize, we need to recognize when we're highly stressed or overbusy. We need to notice how we feel in our bodies and in our mind when we're in these states. We need to explore the other areas of our life that could be impacted, like our relationships, our responsibilities. And we need to get to know and understand how our own body communicates the stress. What are those signs and symptoms? And being aware of those symptoms can really help us begin the self-care earlier. I do believe that self-care is quite an important topic, and hopefully today's video brought you some good information. Please be sure to join us in the next video in the series about self-care. Until then, take care.